Okay, it's going live now. Let's just check. Evening all. Can my people please tell me if you can hear me? And then Mr. Coil Company, Riaan, can you just talk so those can hear you?
Evening, good evening.
Can you guys hear us both nice and clearly? I'm hoping you can. Let's wait for some feedback.
Is the chat delayed or not?
The chat is a little bit delayed, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the O's to tell me if they can hear me or not.
Okay, it's good enough to get a squonk bottle.
Can you guys hear us? Please just say yes, you can hear us properly. Yes, says the O's are lazy tonight. We fucking answer yes or no. Not one O's answered yes, right? They were all just tuned. Aware, how's it everybody?
Aware, then you know they're from Cape Town.
Yeah. Okay, yes, so they can hear us all. Okay, yeah, no, that's cool. Okay, guys, evening again. So let me get out of this freaking behind the bloody writing. Otherwise, all you see is Mr. Coil Company, Riaan's pretty face, not mine. Yeah. So we got Riaan here from the Coil Company tonight. We're gonna have a little bit of a chat with him, Nana. For those of you, let me just check. I think it's all the usual crowd that's logged on. Jeff, Luke, I've got my KB's there, Bra's there. All the usual suspects gonna come and get some information from us tonight. Just tonight, our one lucky viewer is going to walk away with a really awesome prize, kindly donated by Coil Company. A year's worth of Coil Company coils. Yeah, it's going to be like a pig in shit. So tonight, the keyword for the randomizer draw is the word coils. I'll tell you that later. So you have to use the word coils somewhere tonight. And if you haven't used the word coils, then you're not going to be eligible for the prize. But I'll get to that a little bit later on in the show. How's it, Riaan? How are you, my boy?
Good, thanks, and you, Craig?
Hey, it wasn't too long and you were in Durban, but you know you're back in Kaapstad.
Literally 2 days ago.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's cool. Thanks for coming anyway, Botti. Sorry it wasn't as
a pleasure.
As busy as we was hoping, but yeah, that's Durban for you. But that's Durban for you.
Yeah.
Just let me go through a little bit of admin stuff first. As you know, I always start off with what's new in the shop, and I got a real pleasant surprise when I walked into the shop today. I just want to go and open this pretty picture here quickly, so you can see it. Another squonker arrived, and it's called the Armor. I'll give you some blurb on it, and then I'll show you an up close and personal. It's made by or designed by Bruce Designs and Dovpo. I've never actually heard of them before, to be honest, but evidently the guys in the States have been raving about it. So Hugo decided to take a chance on it, and I think it's going to pay off. I'll just run through some specs on it. It's anodized aluminium. It really feels of quality, and I'll show you now so you can see. Size is 44 millimeters by 45 millimeters by 82.5. So it's a fairly large. It's a dual battery squonker, and lovely, one of those. I wouldn't say a super soft bottle, but a nice squeezy soft bottle. It is a parallel, so it's dual parallel 18650s. Resistance range, which immediately says that there's some safety features in here, so we're assuming that there's a MOSFET chip in here, or some chip of some kind. And the resistance range is 0.09 to 3.5. No onboard computer management, so no regulation involved with it. Yeah, so nice little surprise when I got into the shop today. Oh, let me just remove this picture so you can see. So that's, let me just zoom in on it. Where's my camera control? I've got the blue one. Took the blue one out of stock. Okay, you can just see by looking at that, the front plate that comes off to get you a squonker bottle, how thick aluminium that is and how quite good a quality this is, okay? Just by how thick this front piece of aluminium is. Some really good neodymium magnets hold that in place. It fits in there. Comes with this little, what did you call, what was this, what was the name of the dripper, Riaan? Bushido, what's it? I don't know what the name of this dripper is called.
I'll tell you now.
Bushido LP, okay. It's a little single coil RDA, obviously bottom fed because it's on a squonker. Epic little device. You can go up to 25 millimeters, so you can put other RDAs on here. I've measured it up to 25 mil, so you can put up to a 25 mil, and your battery doors at the bottom. Batteries come out. So yeah, those of you looking for besides a drip tech, obviously, because we've got the drip tech, which is also a dual battery. Epic little design. If those of you know the RX23, this is probably the same size as the RX2, not the RX23. So you've got just using the two batteries. On-off switch. There's an on-off switch there. So yeah, epic little squonker, and it actually hits quite nicely as well. Just take a vape on it and show you. Took in too much vapor there. Yeah, it produces a fair amount of vapor. So yeah, that's what hit the shelves. So as I said, I'm always bonkers for squonkers. Yeah, nice little device. The top, it's got an LED indicator to tell you how your batteries are going. Yeah, epic little device, and it feels of quality just by the sheer weight. Those of you who do have one of these, it's probably the exact same weight, so you know it's made of good quality. But yeah, that's what arrived in the shop. We have got some RDAs arriving tomorrow. The dot mod squonker came into the shop for those who wanted that. We've got some new juices. One is actually by Riaan, and he'll get to his juice a little bit later on. That's called Redneck, which is an epic name, I have to say. And then a whole lot of new international juices that have arrived as well. And we got the new Smock Majesty resin, which is a lot of guys have been asking for, so that is arrived. Just some admin quickly. If you want to address a question to Riaan, please put the @ symbol, the Coil Company, and then Riaan can actually see what you are typing. So if you want to ask him any questions, you can actually see that. Yeah, cool. Okay, Mr. How are you? You're relaxed. You're not stressed. Riaan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Let's start. Just quick one. Explain to the people what's behind on that wall.
Okay, what you see there is all the empty spools of kidney puncture that I have used since the day I started the Coil Company.
And how many?
In total, there is 116,000 foot. That boils down to about 36 kilometers worth of wire.
That's a lot of wire, bro. That's a,
yeah,
just for an average set of coils, how much wire do you use for, let's say, a fused Clapton?
Fused Clapton for a set, you use 50 centimeters of core wire. That's folded in half, so it's 25 times 2. And wrap wire, if you use 38, you use about 5 meters.
Yes.
Of 38.
So that's quite a lot of wire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Obviously, the scenario of having other guests on the shows is people can ask them questions, and obviously I have questions to ask him as well. First of all, Riaan, how did you actually get into making coils?
Did it as all the other oaks. Started building for myself, playing around, making more and more advanced stuff. Posted it on the E6 forum. A few guys asked if I can supply them, make for them, and then E6 had a vape meet here in Cape Town, and Benji from Vapor Mountain was there, and he asked if I can make him some so he can supply it to the rest of South Africa, and it all went bonkers from there. When I landed Vapor Mountain, Vape Cartel got on board, Sir Vape got on board, and it just snowballed from there.
Sure. And how many coils do you reckon you make a month? Coil sets?
Depending on what I make, between 1,000 and 2,000 sets a month.
That's a lot. I don't suppose you have a day job besides making coils?
No, my day job is coil building. That's what I do from 7 to 7, sometimes from 7 to 2 every day of my life.
But I have to say that I've used a lot of your coils, and my God, you shouldn't make them last that long, because you're be getting a hell of a lot more busy if your coils weren't as good a quality as they were, because my God.
Thank you very much.
I think
that's all down to Kidney Puncher. Kidney Puncher, I have to say, is probably the best wire in the business. I am, however, busy testing one of our local owns, Riaan from Haywires wire.
Okay.
We're doing a side-by-side comparison to see exactly how it compares with Kidney Puncher, and who knows, maybe we can go from there, and I support the local O's instead of making the Americans more money.
No, that'll be lekker. Yeah. I have to say, if I'm not using your coils, I'm using Haywire's wire.
Hopefully we can definitely work together in the future.
No, that's lekker. That'd be lekker if you can. Eh? Just checking, see if any questions that I've got I've missed. Kaiser asked you a question. How many people do you employ to assist you?
I have one O that helps me to make fuse claptons. Busy in the process of getting another person to wash and pack and sticker. But yeah, so far it's only one.
Sure. That's a lot of work for one man to do. a lot of work. Okay, here's a stupid question. You deserted on a tropical island, and you're allowed one type of e-juice, okay? And it can't be redneck. What juice would you take with you?
Yes, that is a very, very moeilijke question. If I had to pick one juice out of all the juices, it has to be the Belt Special Reserve from Riaan. That will be my definite number one. But I needed tobacco. Yes, it will be difficult. Rogue will be second if I had to choose. I don't know if you know Rogue or Survey.
Okay. I know it's my juice, but yeah, I know. Okay.
And it will be in a billet box.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my. Then if I had to choose another one, the new Paulie's nut cake. That.
Yeah, no, yeah. I haven't got to taste that nut cake yet. Eh?
It's insanely good.
Yeah, no, Paulie doesn't love us. He sends everybody else but us. Yeah. Okay, and if you only allowed to have one mod forever.
One mod,
and that mod would never die on you, and you got infinite battery life. What would that one mod be?
Yes. Option 1 is the Monarch. That's option 1. Option 2 is my drip tech. And option 3 is the billet. That's my 3 devices that
I have to say, I don't leave home without my Monarch. These guys are next level with this little mod. Yeah, funny enough.
And the V2, I don't know if you've seen the V2. The V2 that's fully engraved. It's insanely beautiful.
Wait, wacht a bikkie, what? You must see what's coming to Survey from Monarch. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and there'll only ever be 10 of them. So yeah, it's going to be.
Okay.
Yeah. There was another question I wanted to ask you. Have you got any, for guys? I know there are guys that make their coils local. They make their own coils here, well, everywhere around South Africa. They make their own coils. Any advice that you could maybe give guys that are wanting to make coils?
Everything is down to your prep. The better your prep work, the better your end result.
When you say prep work, what do you mean by prep work?
Like this, let's say you're making fused claptons. If you pre-stretch your core wires, it will fuse a lot easier. If you're making aliens, if you take care in making the clapton for the alien and having no spaces, no stretching, no nothing, you will have a better alien at the end of the day. If you're making frame staples, the tighter you bind your ribbon wire together, the tighter your frames is bind to your ribbon stack, the better your frame staple will come out. It's all about the prep work before the actual coil.
Oh, okay. I've made claptons. That's about as far as I've ever gone in making coils. Although I've made tens of thousands of coils in my lifetime of vaping, I've never got into making all these fancy coils. I just don't think I've got the patience, and I've got friggin' 10 thumbs as fingers. I tend to stay away from that. That's dangerous. I'd rather let the professionals do it. There was a question there from Kaiser Soze. In desperate need of tips on how far to stretch the D-cord outer wrap on a Clapton when making an alien. It's either too stretched out or not enough. Would value some tips, please.
Okay, aliens, there's a few tips. The most important tip of an alien is your 3 cores that you use, 3, 4, 2, 10, how many cores you use. The tension on all 3 or more should be equal. If one has less tension than the other 2, it's gonna collapse. If one has too much tension, it's gonna collapse. So it's all about your tension on your 3 cores or more cores. And then the stretch, if you stretch your alien, if you look that stretch, if you stretch it, it makes an angle. That angle from one high point to another high point should be 90 degrees. Anything more and your cores will collapse, anything less and your cores will collapse. It's all down to practice. Stretch one, make yourself a line on your floor. So you bind your stretch wire to your cores, you stretch it, let's say 3 meters. Wrap your alien, try, see how it comes out. Then go to 3.5 meters, 4 meters, until you see this is where I need to stretch. So you need to make your Clapton wire, let's say 40 centimeters long, to know that every time when I stretch, my Clapton is 40 centimeters long, and now I'm stretching that 40 centimeters to 3 meters, and this is my end result. Now I'm stretching it to 4 meters, this is my end result. It's all practice. The more you practice, the better you will become, and then it will become second nature. Like I know if I tie down my Clapton wire there, I have to go to there. That's the perfect amount of stretch.
I suppose it's almost like juice making. Practice makes perfect, eh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh. Just checking if there's any other questions there. Spaced Out asks, what's your favorite coil to make and to use?
It has to be Fralian or plain staple. That's my 2 favorite coils. If you open one of my devices, that's what I will have in, either a Fralian or a staple of some sort. Staple is only ribbon wire that's fused together with a very high gauge, like 42, 44, 46 and up. Fralian is a frame staple, so you have 2 round frames, and in between the 2 round frames you have 4, 6, 8 or 10 ribbon wire. Ribbon wire is the flat kind of wire that's sandwiched between your 2 round frames, and then it gets alien fused with 38 or 40 or whatever may be the case.
The coils that you made for the Ubuntu, what were those?
Those were, that big ass ones were 6 core aliens. So it had 6 by 26 gauge cores, and it was alien fused with 38 gauge.
So I might have to say that's a killer coil, that bro.
I think for a single coil, it read out at 0.06.
Yeah, I think on my DNA it was 0.07. I think it was.
Yeah, somewhere there.
Yeah, no, that's scary. It's like on my Elite, those coils that you put in my Elite when we were down in Cape Town all those months ago. Those things are still firing on all cylinders. They still look like they're brand new. I'm assuming that
with coils, the better you take care of it weekly, the longer you will use that coil. Like I have a customer that uses my coils now for 9 months, and I basically told him, come to me and I'll give you a set just to give you a new set of coils, because 9 months is pushing it. But he said it's still going strong.
Yeah, no. Well, Mark, those coils in my thing are like at least 5 months old. At least 5 months old. 6 months old.
Yeah, you were down here in April.
Yeah. At least, okay, I don't use the Elite every single solitary day, and I don't leave it sitting with cotton and juice in it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so it's probably will last me more than a year, because I don't use the device every single solitary day. But just for those people who do own your coils, any advice on actually maintenance on them?
The way I do it, I take the coil, remove the wicking, rinse it first, then I dry fire it until it's glowing red. Wait for it to cool down, that it's not red hot, then I dunk it in cold water. If I see there's still some gunk or something, I dry burn again, dunk in cold water, and then should be ready to go.
And you don't recommend using any little comb or anything like that, like a little brush or anything like that?
If it's 36 gauge and down, yes, but 38 gauge is so thin that the more you use it, the more you clean it, the more brittle that wire becomes, and as soon as you touch it with some sort of wire, it tends to break the outside wrap.
Okay. No, yeah, because I've never used a brush on mine. I've always used the same method that you said, just dry fire under some. I use lukewarm water, and I've never used a brush. Also, the scenario I find with your coils compared to every other company's coils that I get is that when I've inserted the coils and I'm going to use them, you're obviously wanting to check that your coils heating up correctly from inside out, and that there's no hot spots. Yes. How do you get it that your coils you literally don't even have to prep those coils before cotton? They just seem to always just work.
That's again down to prep work. Like when I do aliens, if let's say my prep work is wrong and there's maybe a little kink in the wire, that's the first place a hotspot will develop. So again, if your prep work is perfect, you won't have hotspots, you won't have problem areas where the coil will burn through or something like that. It's all down to how I prep and how consistently I prep, what the end result is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's amazing though, because I can go and I take a fresh set of coils and I snap them in a I took one out. What did I use the other day? I put it in my Flav on that little set that you made.
Oh, the Hadley kit.
Yeah, just for those guys that were wanting, who haven't seen our website, we have got the Hadley kits. Just run through what 4 coils are in that Hadley kit, if you don't mind.
It starts with a fused Clapton. It's a 2x28 gauge fused with 40 gauge. That's for your regulated ovens that likes very low wattage, like 25, 35, maybe 40. Then there's a square fused Clapton. It's a special wire that I get from Kidney Punch. It's a square wire. It's 0.4 by 0.4. Now it gauges out to the same gauge as 26 gauge that I fuse together. The only reason why I use square, it's more surface area than the round wire, and it's also fused with 40 gauge. Then there's a alien in 3x28 cores fused with 38, and also there's a frame staple in. It's got 2x228 frames and 6.3 ribbon cores, and it's fused with 40 gauge. That specific frame staple works very, very good on a single coil mech.
Yeah.
Let's say squonker. That's what I run in my squonkers. My mechanical squonkers is that specific frame staple.
Okay. And why do you put a piece of tissue in the box?
It's when you open the box and you see the beauty that's in the box, you can dry your tears.
Sorry, you were doing Sunday. I had to laugh when you said that because it's true. When you look at them, you can actually appreciate good workmanship. And I have to say, your coils are absolutely epic. But
thank you very much.
Sagrin asked, best single coil on a squonk regulated.
Regulated, it's easy. It's all going to come down to your type of vape. The whole Hadley kit will work for you for regulated, from 35 watts all the way to 80 watts. The Hadley kit will work. It's going to come down to your type of vape. For me personally, in a regulated, I prefer either Alien or the frame staple. That's just my preference.
Okay. Okay. Any new coils that you're busy working on?
The staple hasn't been released. Now the staple is basically just ribbon wire that's been fused with very high gauge, either 40, 42, 44. That hasn't been released, so vape will get the first batch as soon as the labels and all of that are ready to go. And also I'm working on Fralian for the mechanical squonker specifically. Should be released soon.
Okay, we'll have some of those as well, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking if there's any other questions there quickly before I get on to your juice. Okay, just for those who've logged on, because I see a whole lot of people who've just come online now, you will see people writing the word coils. That's the word that you need to use tonight to be eligible for the prize. The prize is kindly donated by Riaan himself, which is a year's supply of coils. You can either get them the 12 sets of coils up front, or you can get it monthly, and Riaan will sort you out with that after the show, whoever wins it. Riaan, I also see that we've got it in the shop. You know, you are very similar to myself and Hugo in that you are a tobacco freak.
Yes.
And we see that we have got it in the shop, and I see that it has been selling quite nicely. You've come up with a new juice in cahoots with somebody else called Redneck. Can you just give the guys a bit of a explanation on the juice and how you came about it and etc.?
Yes, we've got a juice maker in Cape Town. His name is Jody. He's from Fat Bastard. Good friend of mine, very good friend. He's not really known outside of Cape Town, but he came to me and I said I wanted a tobacco vape, but I want a subtle vape because I mostly vape high-end Atties that the flavor is very, very, very saturated on. So things like VCT and those kinds of things, the flavor is too intense. So I wanted a more subtle type tobacco to suit my needs, basically, because I need a tobacco in my daily vape setups. We worked on it, we tweaked it, tuned it. He's the one that actually mixes it. I'm just the guy that came up with the idea and the tester. And I really think he did an outstanding job.
Yeah, no, I have to say I enjoyed the juice. I enjoy my tobaccos, and there's very, very few tobaccos that I do actually enjoy. And yours is one of them, funny enough, because you get tobacco and then there's cut tobacco.
Yes.
But yours is in the category which I can vape on a regular basis. And
okay, that's good.
Good juice. Just for those watching, if those guys don't follow Coil Company, I'm just putting a link there to Coil Company's Facebook page. He has got Instagram, etc. I'm just trying to find the Instagram. I don't know if you want to put that up there, buddy, your Instagram page.
Oh yes, let me do that. It's at
just make sure you follow him. He is also on YouTube, so if you want to give him a follow on YouTube, that'll go down well as well. I'm going to send a link for the juice if you guys are tobacco fanatics and you'd like to try a good tobacco. Here's the link also for the Redneck by Coil Company, Epic Tobacco Juice. So just in case you want to try that. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Let's just check here. See KBG, which is one of our moderators, and he's a flavor junkie. Okay. Yeah. He asks, what coil would you recommend for Wasp RDA on the DS Drip Tech?
That specific Hadley frame staple. In the Hadley kit, the frame staple on the Drip Tech DS is insanely good.
That's
Ramp
what
up
you use,
instant. Say again?
It's the same coil that you use there.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm using. Just to give you an example, there it is. Instant. Okay, I've just got some wind here, but instant heat, very, very good. That's what I would suggest. That's what I vape.
That's good. Just checking, is there? Peter Nell Kruger asks, is there really some danger in using some types of wire?
Yes. If you use, for instance, nickel or titanium or any of those specific wires that's made for temperature control and you use it in a power mode, it can be quite dangerous. Those wires are not made for the instant heat ramp up as either Canthal or Nichrome is. So if you want to play it safe, build with Nichrome or Canthal.
Okay. Yeah. Now I've since Nichrome came on the scene, I don't use anything but Nichrome, and I have to say I've tried for since temperature sensing came around. I've tried. If it's 100 times, it's too little to try and mess around with temperature sensing to try and see if it actually works. And I'm still yet to find a decent vape on temperature sensing.
I don't think temperature control is there yet. I've made a few Nithal temperature control coils, and for me, Nichrome is way better than any of those things.
Yeah. And you don't use Canthal at all? Do you just use Nichrome?
No Canthal. Okay. Absolutely zero Canthal in any of my coils.
Cool. Any other questions, guys? Yeah, let's ask some questions there. Where, just besides us, because obviously it's not only about Vapia, where else can people, some people don't like, they like KBG. He's a good mate of mine, and he prefers to walk into a shop and look and feel and touch and buy. Is there anybody in Joburg, or who in Joburg or Cape Town stocks those little kits?
Atomics, Noon Clouds, soon Vape Junction, a new shop that will be opening very soon. Who else is there? Vape Works.
So does Naeem stock them in Joburg?
Naeem is from JJ Emporium.
No, that's Yusuf. Naeem, I think, is Vape Junction, I think.
Vincent from Vape Junction.
Okay, Vincent, okay. I'm getting confused. There's so many freaking vape shops opening up left, right, and center.
I'm telling you.
Forget the names, bro. Forget the names. Kitty asks, what do you prefer for nice clouds for indestructible RDA? So what coil would you put in an indestructible?
Australians or frame staples? Not the fat frame staples, the normal frame staples.
Fet Noob wants to know, why don't you use Canthal?
Canthal, the lifespan of Canthal isn't as good as Nichrome. Also, if you leave Canthal, it makes a weird color on the cotton. It's almost like it's rusting, if you can say that, and I don't like that. And also, Nichrome has a much quicker ramp up than Canthal.
From a ramp up perspective, you're obviously your fastest ramp up is stainless steel, Nichrome, yes. and then
Canthal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, I don't use stainless because the it deteriorates much quicker because it ramps up so quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that I've used stainless steel quite often actually. Funny enough, it's where I prefer stainless steel with fruits. Okay, but this is just my palate. I find with specific types of fruit, like especially your melons, stainless steel just makes those melon flavors pop like you can't believe.
Fruity vapes likes heat.
Yeah.
And stainless steel can deliver heat.
Yeah, I use stainless steel if I know I'm going to open up a bottle of honey melons or some melon juice. I'll make a stainless steel bowl for that, just for that, and then I'll obviously discard of it when I'm finished with that bottle of juice. But I find that that's epic for fruits. But as soon as you put anything that's got dairy in or bakery notes and stuff like that, that high ramp up just destroys the juice totally.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
This is what you can. This is for the people watching. You know, the people say, "Ah, it's coil's a coil." You know, I get a lot of guys saying, "Well, you know, what's the difference between it is it if you've been vaping for as long as Riaan has been vaping, as long as I've been vaping, and you've tried as many coils as we've tried, whether you've made them yourself or you've purchased these specialized coils, and you've tried a whole variety of juices." Through these different coils and through the different wires that are available, you can actually fine tune in on a juice just by using a specific type of wire or a specific type of coil, whether it be a normal flat wire or a normal round wire or whatever, that specific amount of turns, specific ID gauge. You can actually hone in on flavors, which is it's absolutely amazing that you can do that with a piece of wire. It's quite scary actually.
It is, no, definitely. Coils, in my opinion, coils make up 80% of the flavor that gets produced by any RDA.
Yeah, you say that, and I get a lot of, you know, one of the things that we always try to do at Survape is unfortunately, you know, you've got the newbies and then you've got the old school guys. Okay, the newbies, they are too nervous to try and build something, so they buy something that's got a stock coil in. And yes, most of the manufacturers are using nichrome now as their coils. But these mass-produced coils, you know, if you take a juice, I'm just trying to think of juice that most people know. Let's take a bottle of Scream, for example. Scream, you must have sold tens of thousands of bottles of Scream.
Yeah.
You take Scream and you taste that on a Smock X4 coil, hypothetically, and hey, that juice tastes lekker. Now you go put that same juice on a set of frame staples and it tastes totally different. It's a total different juice.
Yes,
and you're getting the true flavors out of it. That's why we always try to get guys to build their own, or get the tanks or RDAs where you can build your own coils to try and maximize your vaping experience. So you need to always look at that. Don't be scared to learn how to build coils, or it doesn't have to be what Riaan does with these fancy coils, but even straightforward basic coils. It'll change your vaping experience 100%. Yeah. Just one quick question. Kurt Yeo asks, thoughts on a 4x29 Alien 36 Alien? Yeah, maybe you'll make sense of that.
Amazing coil. I'm running one at the moment in my Flav. The only difference is I'm using a 38, just because it comes out a little bit thinner. But the more cores you have in an Alien, the more flavor you will have. That's why I'm changing over to Fralians, because I'm getting the frame staple, which is a lot more inside cores. But 4x29/36, great coil.
Okay, Kaiser, I don't think Coil Company does stainless steel coils. They might do on request, but I don't think that they do them as a standard. Biscuit asks, how do you know if a coil has reached its end of life?
If your outside wrap starts tearing off, it breaks, or you see it's thinner in one spot than it is in another spot, then you know your coil is done, time to change.
Linda, yes, you can damage your coils if you clean them too much. The outside wires will break, especially if they, as Riaan said, if they are of a high gauge, like over a 32 gauge, it's quite easy to break those wires.
Yes, definitely.
Luke asked, "What is the best coils for flavor?" This also, you see, this is the situation is that, you know, which is the best tank for flavor, which is the best RDA for flavor. Vaping is one of those games that is so subjective. Riaan, I know his favorite tank is a 22mm flave. His favorite RDA is a 22mm flave. Okay.
That's true.
Mine is a 24 flave. Okay.
Yes.
I love the Ubuntu for vapor production and flavor together. You know,
Yes.
if I want a tight draw, I use a dead rabbit. You know, so there's all these little things. What's good for me is not necessarily good for you. What's good for me is not necessarily good for Riaan. It's
And what works in a Flave 24 doesn't necessarily work in a Flave 22. That's why you have to play around and change and vape, and that's the whole game about vaping. That's what I love about vaping, because what works for me doesn't work for you, and what works in this dripper doesn't work in another dripper. That's what makes this game so intriguing. Is every time you get something new is to refine that, the way you build it, the way you wick it, the way you do everything to get the absolute ultimate flavor out of that dripper or tank or whatever may be the case.
Very true. You know, the situation is technology. It's the same as like if you look at a laptop, you know, go back 20 years and look what the laptops look like then, and then go look what the laptops look like today. I have to say though is that the vaping industry, you know, how it has improved. You know, they used to say, you know, you used to buy a laptop today, it's already outdated. You know, it's exactly the same, if not worse, with the vaping. You know, we were having a little joke about it the other day in the shop with Riaan, is that you've just got to allocate so much money to your budget. It was because tomorrow you bought something today, tomorrow there's something new. and that's unfortunately the vaping game for you. You know, if you look at, I was looking through, and I always post these pictures that I've posted that come up in your history of vaping, or not history of vaping, history on your Facebook page. By the way, my Facebook page has been unbanned. I'm not banned anymore from Facebook.
Well done.
Yeah, I'd love to know who reported me, but yeah, so I'm not banned from Facebook anymore, so I will start posting again. But if you go look at the pictures that I post from 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and like I've been vaping for over 8 years. I'm one of the old buddies in this industry from a vaping perspective. And what I was vaping on then, and that was state of the art then, I was talking to Riaan, is that 3 years ago, what state of the art was a 20-watt e-leaf R-stick. And I've actually got the tank here. I haven't got the drip for it. And yes, it's an aero tank. That's a tank there. And it was on there wasn't even sub-ohm yet. It takes a 1.5 ohm Kanga coil. And that was state of the art 3 years ago. Yeah, it's absolutely mind-blowing. And it's the same as with coil manufacturing. It's the same with e-juice manufacturing, RDAs. You know, the guys are listening to vapors and you know, and you're getting a lot of reviewers now that are building tanks and building RDAs, is because they get to taste and try so many different devices. And yeah, it's getting better and better and better. I don't know where it's going to end or where it's going to end up. You know, I think it's going to go back to the whole, you know, I said it about a year and a bit ago that skonking was going to come back. And yeah, I was right. I think the next thing to come is mouth to lung. I think that's the way it's going to go in the future.
Going back to the Rios, that's what's happening.
Yeah, going back to the old school, you know, like billet boxy type vaping, where you're vaping at 30 watts and it's pure flavor. It's not about this chucking this monster cloud. I think that's where it's going to go, and that's where coils come into a major part of it. Is that to hone in on those specific types of flavors and to get those small coils that produce the massive amounts of flavor. And you know, that's what it's, I think in a year's time we'll be sitting here and we'll say, hey, that's, yeah, the mouth to lung, that's what's coming next. I think is those small, you know, this by the way, did you remember to order my pipes?
Say again?
Did you remember to check out about those pipes that I wanted?
Oh yes. I'll probably send you some info tomorrow.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's going to go this old school, back to the old school, and then we'll have a whole cycle again. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Let me just check some questions here. I spoke far too long now. I've got too many questions. Yeah, try putting new age coils in old age RDAs. Doesn't work. Yeah. Funny enough, this has to still be one of my best RDAs ever. Where is it now? I've got my rotunda. The Bowl V2. Have you ever seen a Bowl V2?
Riaan? I've seen one. Never bought one. Never had one.
It's the old tri-post. The tri-post. You couldn't fit massive coils in there.
Yes.
You know, you joke about that this comes down to how you build. We often have these little cloud competitions in the shop, and I put this little bowl. Okay, it's a 3-post design. You can't take big wires. Okay, so I built some of the little nano freaking cloud chucking 24 gauge flat wire coils in here, and I stuck it on a 22 I-stick battery. You know, the little.
Yes, the iJust battery.
The iJust battery, 22 iJust battery, fully charged battery, and no one could beat me on it. This little bowl. That's the thing, is that if you know how to build a coil properly, you can set it up to do whatever you want him to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let me just check some more questions here. Can't see any more coils for best coils for dead rabbit. Eugene asks, best coils for a dead rabbit.
Alien, Fralien, frame staple, normal frame staples. The 24mm Atties shine with bigger coils like the Aliens, the Fraliens, and the frame staples. The Atties with big air like your TM24, your Goon 1.5, your original Goon Ubuntu, though that specific drippers shine with the fat frame staples, the big ones. And then 22mm Atties and RDTAs and RTAs tend to be the Nano Aliens, the Hadley Kit, or the Nano Fused Claptons, or even normal Fused Claptons.
Okay. Fetnerb asked a question. Please, can you or Craig release a video to show how to properly roll your own coils and install them? Riaan, that's your job.
I'm doing a build video for another vape shop here, so just watch the Coil Company's YouTube page. It should be live soon.
Okay. Yeah, no, just Riaan, if you he's a friendly guy like me, unless he's busy. You know, message him on his Facebook page. I'll put that link again there. Or get hold of him on Instagram, you know, and ask the questions, you know. More than happy to give you the answers and stuff like that.
Definitely. Always happy to help.
Yeah, I know. No more Derringers, eh? The Derringer used to be a really good RDA. Flavor. I don't know if you've ever had it. Have you ever had a Derringer?
No. It's before my time.
How long have you been vaping?
2 years now.
Oh, you know, you're still a freaking wet behind your ears, bro.
Oh.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. Yeah, I must actually. I had someone gave me a lovely present from Bearded Viking. Gave me a lovely present for my table, because my table at home, yeah, you can. I'll just zoom in. Hopefully it doesn't. He made me that rotunda. Okay. Well, you can't see it, Riaan, but I've got a rotunda that's like a Lazy Susan. And
I saw it in the previous episode.
Yeah, that only holds, I would say, 1/10 of my RDAs and tanks. I need one that I'm going to have proper tables put in where I can put them up in rows.
Yes.
The Derringer, and this bowl. I'll actually got a spare bowl. I'll send you a bowl, Riaan. This is an epic flavor. Like, unfortunate thing is not bottom fed because of the middle post. You can't bottom feed this. But the flavor on this little thing,
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like playing around with new stuff. I like a challenge. Put it that way.
Yeah. Let's check if there's anything else here. Ohms, any info on the Armour Squonker? Yes, I did show a little bit earlier on. That's what's arrived in the shop. I'll just go through it again quickly. It's the Armor Squonker. It's an all-in-one kit. It comes with a little 22mm single coil RDA. For the life of me now, I can't remember what that freaking Bushido is the name of the RDA. It comes already wicked up with a frame staple looking coil. It doesn't tell you what type of coil it is, but it looks like a frame staple type of coil. Comes with a super soft bottle. This is made out of aluminium. It's solid. You can kill somebody with this thing. It's quite heavy. You can kill somebody. Dual parallel batteries. It has got some built-in safety features, on-off button, but it is non-regulated. I think it's got a MOSFET chip in it, to be honest. It doesn't tell you on the website, but yeah, and it vapes like a little dream. Yeah, it vapes like a dream. Guys, any more questions? We're keeping these shows down to an hour because obviously he's got to go make coils and I still got to go do some work. So let's post me some more quick questions quickly. Robbie asks, did you smoke before you vaped?
Yes, I did. I think 95% of vapers did smoke before they vape.
Yeah.
Everyone has to, you need that. One day you wake up and you think, yes, now it's time to change. And the best thing to change was vaping. Better than stopping.
Yeah, Jack asks, how's the Capo Squonker? Capo Squonker is a really good starter squonker. Don't get me wrong, really good starter squonker, but they didn't advertise it properly. It's not 100 watts. At maximum, it's probably a 75 watt squonker, even though it says it goes to 100. Overall, the build quality is good. It's it's obviously regulated, so there's safety features involved with it. Comes with a nice RDA. We've got the full kit that comes with the RDA and a 2700 battery. The build that I found that worked best in it was actually it was a dual flat wire build. Came out to like 0.15. I found that worked the best at about 50 watts. But at when you hit 70 watts and upwards, you feel no difference in the coils. So it's still a good device. Don't get me wrong, but there's no way it's a 100 watt device. Probably 75 watts max. But still, nevertheless, really a good starter squonker kit. Same as this, really good starter squonker if you want to get into squonking. KBG asks, would you consider selling single coils for the 22mm single coil RDAs on their own and not the whole set? For example, the frame staple for the Hadley Wasp?
Yes, I am busy working on single coil kits. Not yet done, but we're busy with it soon. Brandon, best way to clean coils is hot water and dry burning them. That's really the best way to clean them. Try to stay away from using any brushes and stuff like that, unless it's like if it's a thickish gauge and your outer wire is like less than 36 gauge, you can use maybe an old toothbrush to give it a bit of a clean. I do that every now and again, maybe use an old toothbrush, but don't use any metal. You do get those little metal brushes. Those are fine for your flat wires, your round wires and stuff like that. Yes.
But not on anything that's been claptoned or aliened or anything like that. So it'll just destroy the outer wires.
Yes.
Okay, so coming to the tail end of the show. Okay, everybody knows how this works. As you'll see when I pop it up on the screen here, I'm slowly increasing the supporter and the regular luck on this Nightbot that I use to do giveaways. And what this basically does is the more and more you watch the show, it actually records who you're watching, who's been watching, and you've got more luck of winning. Okay, so tonight's prize is obviously kindly donated by the Coil Company. The key word is coils, so you must use the word coils if you haven't used it already. And what I do is I pop it up on the screen and then I let it roll 3 times, and then the person that comes up on the 3rd time is the person who wins it. If you've won last week, you can win this week because it's a total random type of scenario. So I'm not really worried about that. Yeah, I'm going to do that now. But Darren asks, what am I vaping? What mods am I using? And what juices am I vaping on? I've got the Axon, okay, which is a squonker, And in the Axon, I have got Gringo from Wiener Vape. In my drip tech, with the Goon, I've got Scream from Hazeworks. I've got in my Monarch, I've got Redneck tobacco from Coil Company. I can't tell you what mod this is, but in a mod that's going to be released shortly, I've got Nasty Juice, okay, and that's on the Dead Rabbit. In my RSQ, I have got another Nasty Juice, the mango, mango nasty juice. And in the Armor, what juice have I got in the Armor? I've got fucking, what's it? Oh, what's the name of that bloody juice? Now it's gonna drive me crazy. Shit, I forget, it's a new juice that we've got in. Man, where's it? Where's it? Oh, it's a sweet black tea. Okay, that's what I've got in here. Okay, so yeah, and that's a couple of the devices. Then I've got a triple X in my billet box, which I've always got. So that's what I'm vaping on tonight. So you can see I've got all of them are squonkers. So you can see I'm bonkers with squonkers. Okay, let's do this lucky draw. So I'm just going to pop up the lucky draw page quickly. And let me go to the Nightbot. Okay. So you can see I've increased the supporter luck and I've increased the regular luck. All of these people here are the people that are eligible for the prize. They've used the word call somewhere in tonight, and I hit the button 3 times. So the first roll would have been Yako. You would have won it if you had. No, it wasn't the first roll. Second roll is Kylan Pillay, and the third roll is Jeanne Felice. I think that's how you pronounce it. So I think Jeanne Felice, if you can get hold of me on my you can get hold of me on my Vape Facebook page. We will organize to get you in contact with Riaan to be able to claim your coils. So I'm just going to put that name up on the page. So if you can please get hold of me. Oh man, why is that not? Yes, just, you know, when you want to collect just something and it won't do there. If you can please get hold of me. I think that's how you pronounce it, Jeanne Felice. I'm hoping you pronounce it like that. Please get hold of me on my Facebook page, and I'll put you in contact with Riaan to claim your prize. Riaan, thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us tonight on the show.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. Keep up the good work, and looking forward to seeing some new coils coming out from you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and don't forget to send us those new coils for the devices when they come out. Always
will be first.
Always looking forward to trying new stuff.
That's good.
To everybody watching, thank you very much for watching. It's always a pleasure having you guys there watching. Okay, cheers guys. Good night.
Cheers, Greg. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.